In today's world of rising geopolitical tension, every decision made on a map can ripple across continents. Borders are no longer just lines, they are statements, and sometimes provocations. As nations jostle for influence and security, the simple act of redrawing a boundary can ignite debates, fuel national pride, and even threaten peace. In this climate, the power of cartography is undeniable. A single map can be as powerful as a fleet of warships, shaping perceptions and policies alike. Maps are not just tools for navigation, they are instruments of strategy, used to assert claims and challenge rivals. In the South China Sea, where every inch of water is contested, the stakes are especially high. The Philippines has just released a new official map, boldly redrawing its national territory, and directly challenging China's sweeping claims in the South China Sea. This move is not just about lines on paper, it's about sovereignty, resources, and the future of an entire region. The new map sends a clear message: the Philippines is ready to stand its ground. This isn't just administrative, it's a calculated act of defiance, erasing China's controversial 9-dash line and asserting the Philippines' exclusive economic zone under international law. By doing so, Manila is not only defending its own interests, but also upholding the rules-based order that many smaller nations depend on. The erasure of the 9-dash line is a symbolic and practical rejection of China's expansive claims. Manila's move is a high-stakes gambit, leveraging legal legitimacy against military might, and signaling a pivotal moment in the Indo-Pacific power struggle. The world's eyes are on the Philippines as it seeks support from allies, international courts, and regional partners. The outcome could set a precedent for how disputes are resolved in the future. The new map is more than geography. It's a declaration that the Philippines will defend its rights with every tool available: diplomacy, law, and, if necessary, resolve. For many Filipinos, this is a moment of national pride and unity, a chance to assert their place on the world stage and protect their future. The world is watching, as this act tests whether international law can stand up to raw power in one of the globe's most critical maritime flashpoints. The response from the international community will shape not only the fate of the South China Sea, but also the credibility of global institutions meant to keep the peace. The lines have been drawn. What happens next could reshape the region, setting the tone for future conflicts and cooperation in Asia and beyond. To truly grasp the weight and significance of the Philippines' new map, we must first look back at the long and complicated history that has shaped the region's borders. The lines we see today are not just marks on paper, they are the result of decades of disputes, shifting claims, and international confrontations that have defined the South China Sea. The South China Sea is one of the world's most contested bodies of water, rich in resources and vital for global trade. Its waters are crisscrossed by overlapping claims from several countries, each with their own historical narratives and legal arguments. Understanding this tangled web is essential to appreciating why every new map, every new line, carries such enormous political and emotional weight. China's 9-dash line, first drawn in 1947 and originally as an 11-dash line, claims vast swathes of sea. This sweeping boundary overlaps with the exclusive economic zones, known as EEZs, of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. For decades, these overlapping claims have fueled tension, standoffs, and diplomatic protests. In 2023, China escalated matters by introducing a new 10-dash line, further expanding its claims and sparking a fresh wave of protests from neighboring countries and the international community. The move was widely condemned, with many seeing it as an attempt to rewrite the rules of the region. Throughout these disputes, the Philippines has consistently pushed back, relying on international law to assert its rights. Central to its argument is the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, a treaty both China and the Philippines have ratified. UNCLOS defines maritime entitlements and sets the legal framework for resolving such disputes. In 2016, after years of legal battles, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled overwhelmingly in Manila's favor. The tribunal invalidated China's 9-dash line, affirming the Philippines' rights to resources within its exclusive economic zone. This landmark decision was celebrated as a major victory for international law and for smaller nations standing up to larger powers. Yet, China rejected the ruling outright and has continued its activities in the disputed waters, building artificial islands and deploying ships. This has created a fundamental divide. The Philippines and much of the world recognize the arbitral award, while China clings to its historical claims, refusing to budge. The new Philippine map is a direct response to these ongoing challenges, an effort to turn a legal victory into a concrete reality. By redrawing its boundaries, the Philippines is sending a clear message. It will not allow its rights to be erased or ignored. By embedding the principles of the arbitral ruling into its national cartography, Manila is making its stance visible to the world. The new map is more than a document. It is a symbol of sovereignty, resilience, and the ongoing struggle to defend what is rightfully theirs. Since the 2016 ruling, China has mastered gray zone tactics, coercion that stops short of open war. The China Coast Guard has repeatedly used water cannons and ramming tactics against Philippine vessels, while Chinese ships have targeted Filipino crews with lasers. China's maritime militia, disguised as fishing boats, swarm disputed areas, intimidating rivals, and complicating any response. Most striking is China's island-building campaign. Over 3,200 hectares of land reclaimed in the Spratlys, now bristling with runways, radar, and missiles. These artificial islands are unsinkable fortresses, shifting the balance of power in the South China Sea. The Philippines faces a relentless, multi-layered campaign designed to change facts on the water. Under President Marcos Jr., the Philippines has undergone a significant transformation in its approach to regional security, shifting from a policy of accommodation to one of assertive defense. This change marks a new era in the country's foreign policy, reflecting a growing determination to protect its sovereignty and national interests in the face of mounting external pressures, particularly in the contested waters of the South China Sea. At the heart of this strategy is the unveiling of a new official map. More than just a symbol, it serves as a powerful legal and diplomatic instrument. The map is meticulously aligned with the 2016 Arbitral Award, which reaffirmed the Philippines' maritime rights under international law. By formalizing its claims, Manila is sending a message that it will not back down from defending its territory, using every available tool to assert its position. Manila's next step is to submit this map to the United Nations, a move designed to challenge China's sweeping claims and narrative on the global stage. By taking the dispute to the world's highest diplomatic forum, the Philippines is seeking to rally international support and put additional pressure on Beijing to respect established maritime boundaries. Simultaneously, the Philippines has deepened its alliance with the United States, granting expanded access to key military bases and conducting the largest ever joint military exercises in the country's history. These drills are not just about training. They are a clear demonstration of readiness and a signal to the region that Manila is not standing alone. The message of deterrence is further amplified by the participation of Australia and Japan, who have joined these exercises, underscoring a growing multilateral resolve to uphold freedom of navigation and the rule of law in the region. Even in the digital realm, the Philippines is making significant gains. Google Maps now prominently highlights the West Philippine Sea, reinforcing Manila's claims not just in diplomatic circles, but also in the everyday consciousness of people around the world. This digital recognition is a subtle yet powerful form of soft power, shaping perceptions and supporting the country's legal stance. Today, the map wars are being fought on multiple fronts, on paper, at sea, and online. The Philippines is leveraging every arena to assert its rights, defend its sovereignty, and shape the narrative for a new era in the region. The Philippines' bold stance has sent shockwaves across the Indo-Pacific. The United States has reaffirmed its defense commitments, warning that attacks on Philippine forces could trigger mutual defense obligations. Within ASEAN, responses are mixed. Vietnam is modernizing its navy, Indonesia is boosting its presence near the Natunas, but divisions persist. Some ASEAN members, like Cambodia and Laos, side with China, weakening the bloc's unity. This fragmentation lets Beijing deal with rivals one-on-one, exploiting its power advantage. Meanwhile, Japan, Australia, and India are stepping up maritime cooperation with Southeast Asian nations. The region is recalibrating, as a broader coalition forms to uphold a free and open Indo-Pacific. The Philippines' actions are forcing everyone to choose sides. The South China Sea dispute is about more than territory. It's about security, economics, and national identity. Frequent clashes risk accidental escalation, especially with U.S. forces in the mix. The stakes are enormous. 1/3 of global maritime trade, over $3 trillion, passes through these waters. Any disruption would send shockwaves through the world economy. The sea is also a lifeline for millions, rich in fish and untapped energy resources. For Filipinos, The conflict is personal. Fishing communities are being pushed out, fueling national pride and political pressure. Diplomatically, the dispute is straining regional institutions and forcing tough choices. The outcome will shape the rules of the Indo-Pacific for decades. Strategic experts see Manila's new map as a bold assertion of sovereignty and a test of international law. For the Philippines, it's about anchoring policy in the 2016 Arbitral Award and resisting China's expansion. China's tactics reflect Sun Tzu's philosophy, winning without fighting while reclaiming national dignity after a century of humiliation. The U.S. frames the dispute as a defense of the rules-based order, not just a territorial spat. Some analysts warn of a ticking time bomb, with rising tensions and the risk of accidental conflict. Others hope that clear alliances and deterrence will stabilize the region. All agree the strategic chessboard is set, and every move now carries global consequences. The stakes have never been higher. The South China Sea is a microcosm of the global contest between China's rise and the rules-based order. Freedom of navigation, international law, and sovereignty are all on the line. The sea lanes here are vital arteries for global trade and energy. That's why even distant powers, like the UK, France, and Germany, send ships to patrol these waters. The 2016 arbitral ruling was a landmark, but China's rejection challenges the credibility of international law. The Philippines' new map is a stand for smaller states everywhere, proving law can still matter. The world must now decide, accept a new sphere of influence, or defend a multipolar, rules-based system. The Philippines has drawn its line. The world's response will shape the future. The Philippines' new map marks a turning point in the South China Sea saga. It's a bold act of sovereignty, and a call for a world where law prevails over might. Manila's move shifts the conflict into a new phase, one where legal and diplomatic legitimacy matter as much as ships at sea. The risks are real. China's resolve and military buildup mean tensions will remain high. But the Philippines' resilience is a beacon for smaller nations everywhere. The world must stay engaged, support a rules-based order, and defend freedom of navigation. The lines on this map are more than borders. They're a blueprint for a more just and peaceful world.